Good morning to all of the honorable judges, fellow participants, and everyone present here. My name is Faza and Husna, and today I stand here as the Prime Minister of the proposition team during the motion. This House supports banning anonymous political accounts online. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a country where the most fundamental foundation is based on democracy and the right to voice our opinion. In each of our voice matters, and in order to be a good and decent citizens of a nation, we have the right to use all of the government facilities to voice our opinion. But that also comes with a condition that we must fulfill. In a real democracy, free speech comes with responsibility, which is why if there's a real person who makes political statement regarding if it is bad or not, whether it harms society, they can be held accountable if their statement contains defamation, hate speech, or spiritualized and violating the policy. Now we all know where a statement of our opinion matters the most, because with that statement, we can influence tons of people to agree with it, and it built a principle base of that. It would be great if the aspirations being beneficial things that will make the society got influence to do something good. But what if it was otherwise? Not every opinion and aspirations brings good towards the society. In fact, there are even more harmful ones outside, such as hate speech and lie spreading that did not bring good and beneficial things. That is why voicing our aspirations has consequences. And behind every person who makes their voices matter has to be responsible for the impact that they had created from their statement. Furthermore, let us describe to you what is this anonymous political account and why is it highly dangerous to the society. Anonymous account is an account where the account owner's real identity is hidden or unverifiable. Then anonymous political account is an account that spreads news or statement related to the politics and the political state with no real name, no profile or photo of the owner, and unclear organization that manage behind the account, as I have explained before. However, anonymity removes all the consequences that they have supposed to face when they made a statement. Those anonymous accounts outside use their anonymity to avoid the consequences. Most of anonymous accounts are not just regular citizens voicing their rights while hiding their faces, but they are weaponized tool that is used to spread fake news, attacking political opponents, and manipulate the public without any fear of punishment. Because of that anonymous account of theirs, it's safe and sound for them to hide their real identity, which is why it is dangerous to let them roam freely in the internet furthermore. Our side of the House set the real issue of this motion under 2 points regarding of our previous claim. Firstly, Indonesia is a democratic country who maintains the principle of the citizens' right to vote and voice their aspiration. Our country has established a free speech space that there's no need to be afraid to voice our rights. If we continue to let other parties, such as those negative anonymous accounts, we are essentially decreasing the power of democracy itself, because they violate the first thing required in a democracy nation. It is the transparency. Every decision and aspiration have to come from a person who is responsible enough to voice their opinion, not from someone who's brave enough to voice but cannot be responsible for their impact that they had created from this statement. Secondly, anonymous accounts are a free toxic space. Why? Because the real reason why they create an anonymous account in the first place is for them to spread their hate towards the others just to protect themselves. If we continue to let them keep on doing their action without any consequences, then we are eroding the unity of our nation little by little without even realizing it. Moving on to my arguments then, why is it actually needed to ban this anonymous account online? Firstly, anonymous political account violate the accountability and democracy. In a healthy democracy, free speech is a fundamental right for every single person inside it, but it must always come with responsibility, which is why democracy requires transparency to know the mechanism. That also applies when the public makes statements. When a real person or organization makes a political claim, they can be held legally and socially for what they said. It is because their voices matters and influence the society worldwide, which is why when it brings harm towards the national unity harm towards the national unity and creates massive protests, they have to be highly responsible for that. However, anonymous accounts break the system entirely because they can spread dangerous lies, ruin the reputation of people within seconds of typing without facing any consequences. Because they hide behind that account and left no trace of their identity to the public. Secondly, they weaponize fake news to create chaos to the unity. First reason why acronyms create an anonymous account is because they want to hide. Hide from what then? From every consequences that they actually have to face. When someone creates an anonymous account, they are most likely to spread negative content to the public, such as hate speech, fake information, or hoax, making false statements to ruin people's reputation, and etc. Why am I so confident of saying this? Because if they actually want to bring goods by spreading positive things to the public, they won't need to make an anonymous account, because when they make a good positive statement, there are no such thing to afraid of. However, when they make a negative statement, there are backlash everywhere and threaten their life, which is why anonymous is the right choice to make. In that way, they can be free to influence people with bad things without having the need to face the weight of the consequences from their action. Thirdly, we must ban this account to protect the society from hate speech and fake news. Anonymous political accounts can easily influence the public. The internet can be incredibly toxic when people can hide behind a mask. However, when individuals use their real names, social pressure naturally stops them from using extreme hate speech. Anonymous political accounts, on other hand, have no moral filter because their real work, lives, and identity are safe from public backlash. When we ban these accounts, we will significantly lower the level of hatred online, because it will make them think twice if they want to say a negative comment. And with the lower level of the hate online, we manage to protect the peace and social unity of the country. What is our path to victory then to implement this society? Firstly, we educate the society more and more often to not trust everything they saw online. Not every statement, every news they found in the social media is accurate and relevant to the real world. There are tons of false information that they need to stay away from in order to protect our unity. Secondly, the ban of these accounts are focused strictly on an anonymous account who makes political contents from no trusted sources. That way, the ban is centralized to the account who violated and not to the wrong state. Ladies and gentlemen, we must ban anonymous political accounts because democracy cannot just survive when the public opinion is manipulated by hidden actors behind the mask, who got free from the consequences of their own action that they did not even want to face in the first place. And with that, I am proud to propose